Good day and welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob. I want to thank you for joining me. In our most recent series of posts, we've been developing a more and more fine-tuned analysis of the mindsets which can actually feed our various forms of addictive self-medication. For instance, we just recently looked at how attached we can get to the face that we show to the world. We talked about this in terms of our persona, or how much we can avoid dealing with the face that we hide from the world. And this is what Carl Jung called the shadow. So whether it's the persona of the shadow, we've been looking at how they can contribute to our distress in our bodies and our emotions, and how it is that this distress is the number one trigger for addictive relapse. I'd like to wrap up this latest module, whose title is Achieving Sustained Sobriety. I'd like to wrap this up by working with one more series of mind-body exercises. We'll be doing that in just a moment, but before we begin that, I want to say a word here, if I may. You may well have guessed by now, there are literally infinite applications of the mind-body bridging methodology that we've been integrating throughout our posts here at your Vitality Project. Each week we've been including new exercises, but that's just scratching the surface. I'd really like to encourage you to investigate, if you're interested, investigate the book written by Dr. Stanley and Guy du Plessis. You can look it up anywhere, including on Amazon, Mind-Body Workbook for Addiction Recovery. Again, that's by Stan Block and Guy du Plessis. There's a lot there, and you can plumb the depths as deeply as you want by getting the book. It's available in paperback. It's available in electronic form in Kindle, and really, really resourceful. Got lots of positive feedback about that book. And while I'm on that point, Guy, one of the co-authors of that previous book, Guy and I are right now working on a brand new volume on what we're calling recovery resilience skills, and that should be coming out over the next months. Stay tuned and I'll keep you abreast of our progress there. So back to the application for today. Let's start here today with an exercise where I have you make a list of a half a dozen of what you see to be the biggest challenges to your or roadblocks to your ongoing recovery process. Like, just list those. List a half a dozen things that you think are really hurdles that are difficult for you. One way to put this is what holds you back from the goals that you seek in recovery. As a few examples, you might include, well, I come from trauma. Or you say, I've got unlucky genes. You might say, I'm really lousy at self-discipline. Or you could say, I've had bad influences from childhood on. The list goes on and on, but just pick a half a dozen impediments to your recovery, and let's see what you find. I think you get the picture, right? Once you list those half a dozen items, what I'd like you to do is do a quick scan of your body and your emotions in reaction to each one of these hurdles to your recovery that you've identified. Just do them each one respectively. Write down underneath each item any body tension that you notice, and also any unpleasant emotion that comes up for you. For example, perhaps you feel sad, perhaps you feel fearful in identifying one of these hurdles. Just write that down. Whatever arises for you when you spend just a moment kind of sitting with this particular item, just write down underneath it that feeling. Let's see what comes up for you. This will be the first thread of where we're going with an exercise, and we'll be unpacking that over the next two posts here together, okay? I want to thank you again for joining me today. I hope that you'll please stay safe, be well in between now and when I see you next. Come back and join me again soon.